Aloha. And doesn't it feel great to be alive in the world tonight? Hello, and welcome to the Hypnosis Show. I am Luke Michael Howard, and tonight's show is going to be all about stopping smoking, quitting smoking, and/or vaping. And a problem a lot of my clients go through, which is gaining weight, a fear of weight gain when people stop smoking. So if you're a smoker that wants to stop, has a fear of gaining weight, put it in the comments below. If I'm talking to you now, I'm talking to people on TikTok. If I'm talking to you now, I'm speaking to everybody else on Instagram, on YouTube, on Twitch, on X, and on Facebook, to name but a few. Because we're going to give everyone a few moments to join us. And I am looking at people's comments just to make sure I don't miss anyone's points. And to mute that sound right there. So if you are a smoker that wants to quit, put in the comments below. Is it cigarettes you're smoking? Are you vaping? Is it patches? Is it gum? Is it something else? But put it in the comments below. And as always, it's Wednesday, and you know what that means. And let me talk to you. So in the comments below, just drop me a line. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you are out there so I can communicate with you. Say hello in the comments. I can see Yasmin and Sam and Raw and Purple and Drew have joined us all on the TikTok. So just put where you're watching us from below. Say hi. And tell us if you've got a problem with smoking. Because tonight we're going to talk about, as mentioned, when more people join us, one of the big three. Because three weeks ago we talked about the number one problem that I often see when I get clients who want to quit smoking, and that is they have a fear of cravings. What am I going to do with the cravings? We dealt with that 3 weeks ago, so you can find that on the archives wherever you're watching us right now. The second one we dealt with last week, which is withdrawal. Luke, what happens to my body? Will I go through withdrawals if I stop smoking? We dealt with that last week, so if you'd like that information, that will be on the archives, the page, on whatever social you're watching right now. And this week's all about, Luke, I want to stop smoking, but I don't want to gain weight. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. And by the way, who likes the new T-shirt, Certified Hypnotherapist? So Twitchers, Certified Hypnotherapist. You like that? Good. And also something exciting to tell you all. Before we go into tonight's discourse, and remember, this is a audience participation. So the more you give, the more I can give you. If nobody comments, then it's just me talking at the screen, which isn't very fun. So if you're here live, it works best if it's a two-way conversation. So if you see me looking this way, folks, it's not that I'm ignoring you. I'm talking to a different camera on TikTok. And if I'm talking here, I'm talking to everyone else. If I'm doing this and that, it's not that I've got some crank in my neck because someone choked me out in jiu-jitsu earlier. It's because I want everyone to feel engaged. All right. Exciting thing. If you're watching anywhere but TikTok, you will see a little thing scrolling at the bottom of the screen. And what it says at the bottom of the screen is how to stop smoking in 1 hour.com. How to stop smoking in 1 hour.com. It's my new website that I launched on Monday, actually. And there's a 45-minute masterclass that I put up there. And that masterclass is all helping people, again, the things that I've addressed on the lives, but in a condensed, well, actually a more informed manner on the masterclass. It's 45 minutes and teaching you how to deal with cravings, teaching you how to deal with withdrawal, teaching you how to deal with weight gain. It's all in one place. It's free. You just have to go over to howtostopsmoking.com. Should be scrolling below me in the red there, and you can watch that for free. Just going to go to the comments now before we talk about discourse. I noticed there were some comments here on the TikTok. We've got Tyler's joined us on TikTok. Mitch has joined us on TikTok. Tyler, I was part of a hypnotist show, but at the start he told me to leave back down to the stage. Okay. Yeah. Don't know why. Maybe you didn't think that you'd be a good candidate, Tyler, or maybe you had some kind of disability. I don't know. I wasn't there. Um, or maybe he was going to disrupt the show and he saw you early on. He's like, this guy's going to disrupt the show. So I'm going to make him go back into the audience. Or maybe Tyler, you're just too damn handsome. He's like, how could I have someone as handsome as you on my stage? Get back, sit in the back of the audience. I am the only one to be handsome. Who else we got here? All right. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about why we're here today. All right. What do you want to talk about? What do you want to say? So we're going to talk about the weight loss and the fear of weight loss. Tyler's just responded. We did a couple of things and a few people got sent back down because I guess we didn't get hypnotized. Well, everyone's hypnotized, Tyler. I mean, you're on TikTok. TikTok is a great little device to hypnotize people. Do you know how much of my day my phone was here instead of using the camera? Do you know how much of my day I'm hypnotized and I'm on TikTok looking at videos? So everyone can be hypnotized all the time. Perhaps you just didn't feel that you'd follow instructions when you were on stage, or you wouldn't be demonstrative enough to entertain the audience. Again, I don't know. I wasn't there. Sorry that you didn't get an opportunity to go on stage. It can be quite fun when you've got the right hypnotist looking after you. Yeah. All right. So, who here smokes? I'm just generally curious because that's what tonight's going to be all about. People who smoke, who want to quit. Now, that might be smoking cigarettes. That might be vaping, which is a big one now. It might be people who are addicted to the gum, the Nicorette gum patches or anything like that. So I'm curious if you put in the comments if you use any of those implements to smoke, or if you're addicted to weed or cigars. So oftentimes I often tell a story, right? And it's of clients that have come to me and they've gone to another hypnotist, somebody who wasn't me, and they went to the other hypnotist to stop smoking. But then they would give me a call and they'd book a session with me. Before I take anyone on as a client, I get them to fill out a questionnaire so I can make sure there's no contraindicators. So, it wouldn't be dangerous for us to work together. And also they're ready, they're ready to be a good client. And then I get them on the phone and we have an hour conversation that I call a screening call. And that's just for us to both check each other out, quite frankly, to see if we would be a good fit. Anyway, this particular person said to me, yeah, Luke, well, I went to another hypnotist and he got me to quit smoking. Which I said, that's amazing, but you've booked this call because you want to quit smoking. So what gives? You either a smoker or you're not a smoker. And I said, well, yeah, it worked. It worked bloody well. It's in England. They use the word bloody a lot. But here's the thing, Luke. I stopped smoking for a month, but I replaced it with sugar. I was eating copious amounts of carbohydrates, sweets and candy. And in that first month, Luke, I gained 7 to 10 pounds of weight. And I said to myself, now, I would never use language like this. If you know me, you know I would never use language like this. But they're like, Luke, I would rather be a skinny bastard that smokes than a fat bastard who smokes. So hence I started to smoke again. And I heard that from quite a few clients. Now, the hypnotist that they were working with didn't realize a couple of things. And that is, of all of the chemicals that cigarettes have, in fact, they have about 2,500 chemicals. One of the chemicals, or one of the ingredients of cigarettes, is sugar. About 5 to 7 grams of sugar in each cigarette. Not many people know that, right? It's right at the bottom of the other, like 2,499 toxic things in it. So oftentimes, not knowing this, the client would stop smoking, but then their craving for sugar would come on, right? And they'd find themselves specifically reaching for candy, hard candy, chocolate and stuff, and they wouldn't realize why, right? Well, that's why. Your unconscious, your subconscious is looking for another way to meet that same need of sugar. But you didn't realize this was going to be a problem. So like a lot of people are like, you know what, if it's a choice of being fat or a choice of smoking, a lot of people say, well, I'd rather be skinny but smoke than fat and not smoke. I think both is potentially bad for you, that people make judgment calls in a society that's very focused on how we look and presentation these days. Um, so those people came to see me, and knowing this information, unlike the other hypnotist, and quite frankly, most people don't know this, even people that have been smoking 40, 50 years, about sugar. I just gave them a suggestion that they wouldn't reach for sugar anymore when they quit smoking, when they became a non-smoker. They would reach for other things, and their unconscious, I gave their unconscious, their subconscious, their monkey mind ample room to fit their own suggestion. But that might be something. Hello, Sean, how are you? Yazin, how are you? Grizzly Farmer, how are you on the TikTok? So I would give them a suggestion that maybe they drink more water, maybe they eat more celery sticks, or like I say, I gave their unconscious room to fill in the blank with their own specific suggestion, so it wasn't rejected, because of the suggestion that comes from the client is far more powerful than the suggestion that I could ever give a client, because it's their own, right? Good evening to you too, Sean. So yeah, so knowing that in hypnosis, the kind of clients that I work with, they never gain any weight because we already know this go in. We know that's one of the chemicals. We know that's one of the things that most people would do is reach for more sugar to replace the needs. And knowing that, I give them suggestions that they'll just do other healthy things to get those same needs met. As well as with other suggestions as well to curb around that few days of not having that sugar inside of their body, getting used to it, being okay with not having that sugar. Then Bob's your uncle, as we say back home, and they're good as gold, and they don't gain any weight. Because I'm a big believer, if we take something away, we've got to put something better in its place. So if we take away cigarettes, if that's the client's problem, we've got to put something better in its place. Otherwise, that weed, so to speak, is going to grow again. So if we take away smoking, and one of the things with the sugar, right, we don't put something better in its place, the likelihood of that smoking habit growing back or another illicit drug problem coming back becomes exponentially stronger, right? So we have to be aware of that in hypnosis, aware that the unconscious is always looking for back doors out of things because it wants an easy life. Your unconscious, your subconscious mind's number one job is to keep you alive and breathing, not necessarily happy and healthy, just to keep you alive. Though. We know that. Any good hypnotist would know that in hypnosis and ensure and give ample room for your unconscious to co-author suggestions where your unconscious will dream up, will develop, will code, will save into your unconscious, into your psyche, new, better suggestions that will enable you to stay a non-smoker and will enable you to be your target weight or potentially get to that. Sean, would you agree? Sean's a hypnotist as well. Sean, would you agree with that? About the smoking and oftentimes people gaining weight when they stop smoking unless that's been dealt with in the hypnosis session. Be interested to get your input on that, Sean. Sean's another hypnotist. Not sure where Sean is based. He might be in Canada as well. I'm not sure. Maybe you'd let us know, Sean. Sorry if I mispronounce your name wrong. Chantel, what about dreams? What about dreams, Chantel? What's your question about dreams? If you give me a little bit more context, I'll do my best to answer for you. Sean says hypnosis helps bridge the gap between now and the new habit taking root. Yeah, that's a nice way of putting it, Sean. Are you in Canada as well, Sean? I know we're friends on the Facebook and you show up and you were at the Performing Hypnosis Summit recently, I believe. I'm not sure if you're in Canada or if you're in America or somewhere else. Yeah, so it's quite easy to quit smoking and to be your ultimate ideal weight, happy and healthy, or get to your ideal weight and not replace the sugar you were getting from cigarettes through some other mechanism. Some clients, I ask them, what was the suggestion that you gave yourself in hypnosis? They're like, oh, look, I said I like carrot sticks, so I reached for carrot sticks instead of chocolate or candy. Another client says, he'd eat ice cubes. That was his unconscious. I didn't give it to him, the suggestion. Another client just had sips of water. Another client had gum, non-Nicorette gum. But yeah, these are some of the suggestions they gave. And the habit was replaced. And instead of it being smoking and replaced by another illicit drug, it was replaced by doing something happy or healthy. So, long story short, when you're working with the right hypnotist, you won't gain weight because they know what we're dealing with. Now, there are other hypnotists, and not to blame hypnotists, there are other people that don't even realize about sugar being inside cigarettes. So, if they're not aware of it, they can't give you the suggestion to ensure you don't gain weight. But I've been doing this 25 years. So you'd have to get up pretty early in the morning to get one over on me when it comes to these little sneaky loopholes the unconscious tries to find to kind of wriggle out of doing stuff. I've been there, I've seen it in about 10,000 clients over the last 25 years. So I know where those little escape hatches are, those little wiggle rooms that your unconscious is going to try and wriggle out of deals. And I ensure that we, for the greater betterment of your unconscious, your health, your subconscious, as we batten down those hatches, we make it bulletproof, airtight, and nailed down, so the suggestions are stuck in, glued in, bolted in, tied in. All right, Sean says he's in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Sean, is that where you are? I know Saskatoon. I'm not sure. Says in Saskatchewan. Who else have we got? We got Tyler. We got Mr. Josh. Gosh. Right. Anyone else got any questions about hypnosis? About smoking? About weight gain with hypnosis? And as I mentioned, in the last three weeks, we've dealt with cravings, withdrawals. This week we are dealing with the fear of weight gain. But the number one reason people don't quit smoking or don't stop smoking isn't because the craving, it isn't because of the withdrawal, and it isn't even because of the fear of weight gain. The number one reason people don't quit smoking, the number one reason for everyone all of the time, you know what it is? Do you know what the number one reason people don't quit smoking is? I'll give you a moment. Do you know what the number one reason people don't quit smoking is? Put it in the comments below. Be a cash prize of $60 million, or not really, but it'd be fun. Put in the comments below if you know what the number one reason people don't quit smoking is. I'll give you a moment to comment on that before I lay some gospel on you. Hey, Deb, how are you? Good to see you, Deb. All right. 3 seconds to comment. 2 seconds. 1. Do you know what the number one reason is that people don't quit smoking? We boil it all down. I've only got 25 years, about 10,000 clients that prove this. But the number one reason people don't quit smoking is fear. Just fear. The cigarette's been with me when everyone left me, when my husband, my wife left me, when my kids left me, when I got fired from job, when I left home, when I left college, when I left university, when this happened, when that happened, when I went to hospital, when I broke my leg. This thing called smoking was always there, was always my friend. You know, for some people, that's very real to them. To which I say to them, it's been your only friend, eh? They're like, yeah. I'm like, well, you might want to get a better friend, because what friend secretly, or maybe not so secretly, slowly, deliberately tries to poison you throughout the years in order to give you cancer and kill you? I don't know about you, but if I had a friend that I found out that they were trying to poison me slowly to give me cancer so I died, and I found that out, I don't think they'd be my friend anymore. But that's the smoking habit, right? It lurks as a friend, or I call it a wolf in sheep's clothing. But I'm sure you wouldn't tolerate, unless you're a masochist, someone poisoning you and being aware that they're poisoning you every day. They may have a nice smile on their face, but secretly, or not so secretly, they're poisoning you. You probably wouldn't be in that friendship anymore. I'm guessing, or I'd hope not. All right. We've got Stephanie here. Hey, Stephanie. Stress, at least that's why I struggle. Stress, yeah. Stephanie, not picking on you. Thank you for commenting, Stephanie. True story. I had a client once, right? And he came to me to stop smoking, right? And we did it in one session. He was done. Lo and behold, anyways, he lived in the same neighborhood where my office was. There was a gym. 9 months after our session, I was in my gym and I saw him. He was in my gym training. which to be fair was only 5 minutes from the clinic, right? So it wasn't that big a coincidence, but all right. And I saw him, and as soon as I saw him, Stephanie, my client who stopped smoking 9 months earlier in 1 hour with me, just looked down. He couldn't make eye contact. And I was like, this is a bit weird. What's going on there? So I went up, and I'm like, his name wasn't John, by the way, for client confidentiality, but I went up and said, hey, John, how are you? How's it all going? He's like, yeah, Luke, I'm a bit embarrassed, to be honest. I'm like, why? He's like, well, I'm smoking again, aren't I? I'm like, okay, so when you came in, what was it, about 9 months ago? He's like, yeah. He's like, look, it was amazing when I left your office. I didn't smoke. First day, first week, first month, 2 months, 3 months, incredible. 6 months milestone. I'd never gone 6 months without smoking. Oh, I was doing so great. I'm so proud of myself. 7 months, 8 months. I'm like, I finally got this lit. And then 9 months happened. I'm like, what happened on month number 9, John? He's like, Luke, where do I start? Month number 9, I found out I had testicular cancer. Oh, and my wife left me. Oh, and she took my little boy. Oh, and I got laid off at work. Got involved in an automobile accident and had to have my little finger amputated. I'm like, John, really sorry all that shittiness happened to you. Generally, really sorry that sounds like you had an awful, 9 months. But and then he's like, yeah, and then I started smoking. I'm like, again, so sorry to hear that. So let me get this right. You lost your little finger, you lost your wife, you got testicular cancer, she took your little boy, you lost your job, you was involved in an automobile accident, and now you smoke. He's like, yeah. So I'm like, you had all those problems, and then what happened? You lit up the cigarette, and suddenly your wife came back, brought the little boy back, your finger grew back, the testicular cancer went away, you got your job back, and we went back in time, and that automobile accident didn't happen. He looked at me, he's like, he realized he'd been boxed in at that point. He's like, no, I just had one extra problem. Now, on top of all that shit, I was now smoking again. And I say all that to say, stress happens, right? Stress happens to us at the best of times. We can't control these curveballs that will hit us on a Wednesday night at 7:30 out of nowhere, and we're like not even prepared for it, right? It's like a cheap shot or a sucker punch. No one's prepared for it. That's what a sucker punch is. We have no control, but we do have absolute control of our action, not our thoughts, right? Thoughts come, thoughts go. Not even our emotions. Emotions come, emotions go. But the only thing we have control of are actual physical actions. So the one thing that John did control was his actual physical actions. All that other shit happened, unfortunately. Shit being the technical word. But I say all that to say you always have control. You go through very, very great hardships that are out there, and it can be tough because life can be tough sometimes, right? Fully appreciate it. No one gets away unscathed, right? No one gets out of this thing called life. However, we have absolute control of our actions, right? Sorry, Stephanie. Hope that kind of answered your question or statement. Gosh, that's true. Thank you, Stephanie. It's great. Thanks for following, Stephanie. I'm sorry to hear about your client, but you're completely right. Thanks, Stephanie. Yeah, and I don't say it's easy, right? Stopping smoking isn't easy. It's simple. It's really simple. It's a lot simpler than you would ever imagine, right? There's an industry out there that makes it very complicated to quit smoking. This is the industry of the patches. The police are coming to take me away. Not guilty. That control the patches, the gum, the vapes, the e-cigarettes, and what have you. There's a whole industry on keeping you hooked into doing something nicotine based. A lot of these nicotine companies that sell you cigarettes, they also own the patch companies, the Nicorette companies or the equivalent, and the vaping companies. So I always say if they can't take your money with the left hand, they'll take it with the right hand, but they'll take it one way or another. Right? It's not easy, but it is simple. It is simple. When you've got the right tools, Stephanie, it is simple to quit smoking. I've had clients as young as 17 that have come to see me to quit smoking. I've had clients all the way up to 76, and all love and respect to this lady. In my brain, I didn't say this out loud. I don't think so, at least. But I'm thinking, all right, you're 76. I don't know how much time you got left, but why are you worried about quitting smoking now? But she wanted to quit. She was 76. And she wanted to prolong her life as much as she could. And the last time I knew, this was, I saw her about 10, 12 years ago in Ottawa. capital of Canada. As far as I know, she's still with us. But yeah, she wanted to prolong her life. So youngest being 17, oldest I've seen is 76. But when they were ready, it was simple. It was simple. And the good thing about smoking is, and I always say this, is smoking's a bit like being pregnant for men or women, right? Stay with me for this analogy. You can't be a little bit pregnant. You're either pregnant or you're not pregnant. You're either a smoker or you're a non-smoker. It doesn't matter if you smoke one a day. It don't matter if you smoke one a week. It don't matter if you smoke 50 cigarettes a day. You're a smoker, all right? And if you don't smoke at all, ever, you're a non-smoker. I'm not here to judge if you should do it or if you shouldn't do it. I'd imagine if you enjoyed smoking, you wouldn't be with me on this Wednesday evening watching this podcast, not podcast live. But you know what I mean, right? But I come in when people hold their hand up, they send me an email or they book the screening call and they're like, look, I want to quit smoking. I want to be around for seeing my grandkids or my kids go to college, university. I want to be able to walk up a flight of stairs without getting gassed out. I want my wife or my husband to kiss me again and not be disgusted by the smell and taste of cigarettes. You know, people have their own reason, and that's when I come along when people need my help. I'm not here to judge people. Quite frankly, I don't give a fuck if people smoke or not. I only care if they want my help and if make sure they don't blow smoke in my face because that's deeply unpleasant. I'm just going to read some of your comments here. All right, let's see what people have to say. Stephanie says, I've smoked on and off for years, but one thing that seems to help the most was living with the mindset I'm a non-smoker versus quitting. Yes, definitely. That's a good thing. I do that with my clients as well. If you say I've quit smoking or stopped smoking, there's part of your mind, your unconscious, that kind of says, yeah, but you've only stopped for a little bit. You've only taken a break for a little bit and you're going to start again, right? Versus a non-smoker, which is a non-smoker is, yeah, I used to smoke. I used to enjoy it. It used to be a habit. I used to get something from it. And now I don't do it anymore, right? It's a mindset shift. It's always like I share this story. It's like I used to like Kiss, the band Kiss, when I was a little boy. I used to like the band called Kiss, and as I got older, my musical taste changed. Some would say for the better, some might say for the worst. But I no longer listen to Kiss. Now, someone asked me, well, didn't you always used to listen to Kiss when you were a little boy? Yes. And now you're a grown-ass man, you don't listen to it? Yes. Both are true. I used to do that, and now I don't. Believe it or not, 8 years ago, I didn't have one tattoo. I had zero. I had zero tattoos. See pictures from me from 8 years ago, I had zero tattoos. That is true. Smoker, I used to smoke. I used to have zero tattoos. After I finished a session with a client, they're a non-smoker. Me, 8 years later, I've got 80 tattoos, right? You could have been a smoker and be a non-smoker. But that little shift, Stephanie, in your mind, it is a very, very powerful shift. Because we don't want to quit anything, right? We don't want to stop anything, right? We don't want to quit our marriage. We don't want to quit our job. We don't want our car to quit on us, right? We don't want to quit anything. We don't want to lose anything, right? But it's okay to be a non-smoker. There's nothing negatively inherent about being that. It's acceptance of here's a particular behavior, habit, addiction, some might call it. I do not, that people used to do. And with the right tools, they simply just don't do it anymore. And it's simple because it's on or off. It's binary. Yeah, it's on or off. Like if I'm working with someone with food issues, they're always going to need to eat on some level. But the smoking, we can just switch that off like that because you never need to smoke. I've never worked with a client and I've never heard of a published story or article anywhere in the ether that documents somebody was living an amazing life and then one day they quit smoking and the next day they died, and the reason they died is because they quit smoking. There was no other contraindicators in their health. It's just them actually quitting smoking caused them to have a cardiac arrest. I have never particularly heard that or read that in my life. So smoking is very, very simple. Very, very simple to quit when you've got the right tools and when you've got the right experts out there, right? There's a lot of people that are not great experts. I don't know about you, but like, if I'm going to go to a dentist, I don't know if I want to go to the cheapest dentist. When they're like hitting nerves in my mouth, like when I went there today, I don't know if I want to go to the $50 an operation dentist, because who knows what they're going to butcher in my mouth, right? I want to feel safe when I'm with the dentist. I want to feel like this place is clean. He looks smart. He's talking to me. I hear the nice jazz music in the background, and there's this whole experience of it, even though it's quite unpleasant. Why I say that is hypnosis is not unpleasant at all. It's nothing like hitting a raw nerve when you go to the dentist. But you can get a lot of hypnotists out there that do a weekend course that may have cost them a couple $100, and now they feel that they can help you with your PTSD or help you with your chronic trauma or your complex family issues. And hypnosis can be an amazing tool for all of this and more. However, I don't know if I want to trust my psyche and my deepest addictions and shame and guilt and trauma with someone who's just been certified over the weekend and has a script book that they're reading. The reason they oftentimes the hypnotist will tell you to close your eyes so they can quickly rifle through the script book and find the script to your problem. So it would be S for smoking, and they read it to you. Certainly not all hypnotists. A lot of good hypnotists out there. But a lot of hypnotists do that, read the script. And I'm saying, if you're reading the script, if I'm here reading the script, I'm not looking at you. If I'm here reading the script, I'm missing you in front of me, right? So you want to make sure, like I go to a good dentist, you want to go to a good hypnotist. Not all hypnotists are created the same, not all dentists are created the same. But you want to go to someone that's got years of experience, who's been doing this, and not somebody who just talks a good talk, that has proof, whether that be videos, whether that be Google reviews, whether that be other reviews that they've got on their website, that they've got a social media footprint, and there's, they give away a lot of stuff for free, so you get a feel if you like them or not. Like last time I counted, I had 1,500 videos on YouTube on everything you can imagine about hypnosis and problems and that stuff you don't want to imagine. And oftentimes, clients permitting, because sometimes people don't want to talk about their stuff once it's done, right? You can understand that. Like if I'm working with someone with cocaine, oftentimes they're in highfalutin jobs and they don't want to be on camera being interviewed about why they used to do cocaine, because it could unfortunately negatively affect their clients or their job prospects going forward. Saying that, I do have some clients that were happy to leave me a review after I got them off of cocaine and saved them a couple of $100,000 each and every year. But also hypnotists that can show you, not just after the session with a client, but on my website and on how to stop smoking in 1 hour.com, there's a few interviews of about 20 minutes of clients that after 10 years, 7 to 10 years, they came back into my orbit for a different problem. They'd originally come to see me 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago for smoking. They'd stopped, and they're like, "Oh, Luke, yours came into my head. I've got an issue with weight, or I've got an issue with anxiety, and you got rid of it for me 10 years ago, the smoking." And I figured, oh, maybe you can help me with this. Even though, and I just thought, even though like on my website it's like stop smoking and weight loss and anxiety, it's all there. They didn't see that. They're like, I just thought, well, I thought you helped me with that. And I thought maybe you could help with that, but I didn't know. Like, it's right there on the website. The same website you went to stop smoking, right next to it, there's pages for weight loss, weight release. There's pages for getting rid of anxiety and pain, but they didn't see it, which is always funny. Like, do you work with people with weight loss, Luke? Do you work with people with anxiety as well? Or was it only stopping smoking and addiction? I'm like, yeah, you've been to the website. It's all there. And they just didn't see it. Always makes me chuckle. But I interview people there, like 10 years, they come back in the fray, and I ask them of their experience of the session that we did 10 years ago and how life's been as it relates to smoking. And you can see, and that I always love those ones because it's real, right? It's real. You can see they're not actors. They're not in a high budget studio somewhere. They're people that I'm interviewing, and they're giving real thoughtful answers. And I think that's important when you choose to work with someone, a hypnotist, or someone's going to work in your mind, that they can show you proof of other people that they have helped in that time. So I always like to do that as well, because not all hypnotists are created equal in the same way. Not all dentists, doctors, mechanics, engineers, they're not all created equal, unfortunately. There's some really great ones out there, and there's some ones that are not so great out there. So that's some ways to find out the good ones is look at their videos, look at the people they've helped, how long they've been in business, what kind of problems do they deal with, do they have a TED talk, and then have they dealt with other problems, and you can start to get a feel for that. So if you have any questions, folks, now would be a good time to ask. I'm going to give you all a moment as well. And if you're watching, because I'm going to wrap it up in a few moments, if you're watching this after the fact, you can still put your comments below, and I will endeavour doing the best to answer your questions. So if you're watching it after, because we're live every Wednesday, 7 p.m. EST, each and every Wednesday. It's Eastern Standard Time. Not sure what time that is for you, but in Toronto, that is our time. And next week, we'll be back here, same time, same place, same channel. If you have any questions before I wrap it up, hey, Daryl, how are you? If you're still with us, you can just comment if you've got any questions about smoking or how to stop smoking in that business or hypnosis. You can put that down in the comments as well. Oh, and like I say, just before I forget, if you're watching anywhere other than TikTok, but I'll upload it on TikTok after, on the bottom, there will be a little screening, a little scrolling website. It says how to stop smoking in 1 hour.com. I've got a 45-minute masterclass that deals with withdrawals, that deals with cravings and deals with weight gain. 45 minutes. It's yours for free. You just need to go over to how to stop smoking in 1 hour.com. Go over to it and you can watch that video and have it for free. And if you choose to, you can book a free 1 hour call with me where there's no pressure. We just have a chat. And if you're ready to stop smoking, I'll tell you how I can help you. Pretty good, because we've been doing it for 25 years and hope close to 10,000 people stop smoking. It's not an official number, but close to it over the last 25 years or so. So go over to how to stop smoking in 1 hour and you can watch that video for free. Other than that, folks, thank you for joining me. And I shall see you next Wednesday. Same Luke time, same Luke place, same Luke channel. Always believe. And mahalo.